Oh, I got some juicy news for you. Profit First app version 2.0 is here. With an enhanced user experience and video guidance throughout, you can now be even more confident in your Profit First implementation. Plus, listeners who work with a certified Profit First professional get extra benefits. Check it out now at www.profitfirstapp.com. Hey, accountants. If you're spending too much time on manual work, here's the solution for you. It's called Bill, Bill, and it's the easiest way to streamline your work. Bill's automation helps eliminate repetitive tasks so you can focus on bigger things in your firm. That means slashing the time you spend on financial cleanup and chasing receipts. With Bill, you put AP, AR, and business expenses on autopilot. And for a limited time, when you take a demo at bill.com/grow, you'll get a $250 gift card of your choice. Terms apply. Get started today.
Today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now,
on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I am Liz Sporn, a guide here at Profit First Professionals.
I'm Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, and a brand new book called The Money Habit. And you, my friend, are listening to the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast. I bet you figured that one out by now. You're an accountant, bookkeeper, coach. You're in the right place.
This is where we're going to teach you how to grow your accounting, bookkeeping, and coaching practice. We're going to give you a great interview. We have insider access. We have GMAP tip of the day. Yeah.
Hey, Ron, I know Jane doesn't like to talk about field hockey, but how's the field hockey season going?
Yeah. So
tell your listeners what you're not allowed to do.
So I have a sophomore in high school, and I've encouraged her to participate in sport. I don't care what sport, but participate in something. And so she started doing sports, lacrosse and field hockey many years ago. And me and my wife are still not allowed to watch her games. I've snuck in the games only to be, thrown out. And this has been
not by the refs, not
by the refs,
by refs,
by my daughter, by
Make
saying,
sure we're
go,
clear.
like literally pointing to me in the stand and going like this. So all right.
Sorry.
So now I thought we were over that. Right. And so I go to the first game against my alma mater, or against my high school, against Boonton High School. Right. And I get there. My daughter's a sophomore. She's playing JV. She's starting JV. And I watched the second two halves of the varsity. JV comes along. My little daughter's running out, pointing at me, going like this. And I'm like, oh man.
Oh,
Do I go under the stands and look? And I'm like, nah, I don't want to look. So later on that day, my wife said, Jane was very happy that you didn't try to sneak around and that you just left. I said, thank you. Jane comes home, has a story for us. Guys, you're not going to believe this. This is what's going on. We're like, what? Make a long story short. And she dragged this out. She had an assist.
yeah.
And she scored the game-winning goal.
Oh, Ron.
And she said, we were not losing the Boonton.
She's like, you guys, no, I'm not letting
No,
mom and dad
she's
win.
like, no.
No.
And I'm like, see, you do have it in you. She's like, no, I'm not competitive. I don't know. I only wanted to beat you. And I'm like, oh my God.
So competitive.
Yeah.
Well, So I think we're going to play Boonton again as Morristown. And so when we play, you can come as my guest. I've invited you. She won't see you because I think it's home. I think we're at Morristown. So she won't even see you. We'll surround. I'll tell all my friends and we'll surround you so you can.
Well, the beauty of sports and how it applies to business and also growing your accounting practice is that, if you're a starter, great. If you're on the bench, even better, right?
Yep.
You got to deal with disappointment. You got to deal with supporting people. You have to learn various different aspects. You're doing things that you're not doing. You're not getting your way. This is great building, team building. So somebody asked me the other day, Ron, where would you suggest I look for excellent salespeople? I said any ex-athlete is probably a pretty good place to start. They're team focused. They want to achieve. They know how to support. They know how to, do other people's jobs, listen, right?
Focus.
Focus. And so, hey guys, if you're struggling finding people, maybe you want to put something in there and look for athletics, talk to an athletic program. Kids, these coming out, they're looking for teams, they're looking for reasons, they're looking for mission, they're looking for a lot of good stuff.
Yep. That's a good one. That's very true. And that's what that's what we hope will happen to my kids. Like, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Let's make sure that
your kids are fine.
All right. Let's introduce our guest, shall we?
Yep. Go ahead.
So excited. So we have Laura A. We have to find out what the A stands for. Maybe it's awesome. Laura, awesome Shepherd, founder of Momentum BK, My Top Bookkeeper LLC, and MTB Management LLC. She has been transforming the bookkeeping and accounting industry since the year 2000. With the launch of Momentum BK accounting model in 2023, she equips small business owners and service providers to work together effectively while raising industry standards. Oh, we need that. Beyond a professional impact, Laura supports her local community with business advice and bookkeeping expertise. We are so happy to have her here. Billy Ann and Ron have been raving about her. So with all that, let's go. Welcome, Laura.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you.
Yes, Laura, you and I know each other a little bit, but why don't you go ahead and just share with the audience a little bit about, why you created Momentum, what its purpose is for it. And I think that's a great starting point just to lay the foundation here.
Perfect. So, of course, Momentum was long time in coming. So, every business has a life cycle, and what you offer, in your services or your ability to get out there and support other entrepreneurs, that comes over a period of time. You don't start with that.
Right.
So the evolution of my own business is basically the foundation for Momentum BK, as far as how you set up your business with a very strong foundation and grow and recognize what your pivot points are.
Okay.
And it's time to pivot, and how you can add services over time that go in line with your business progress, right? Your ability to function on a day-to-day basis and just run a business. That takes practice and it takes time, right?
Okay. Got it. So what you're saying is foundation, build the foundation, then, okay, you're probably going to have to pivot as you grow. Make sure that that pivot is in alignment, okay, of what you're looking to do. And that is the opportunity, but don't pivot and take on things that you're not ready to.
That's absolutely right.
Perfect. So, right, we've got a lot of newer accounting firm, bookkeeping firm owners. Everybody is telling them to be advisors. Everybody's telling them to be fractional CFOs, right? Be CFOs, be as CFOs. How do they know if they're ready to become a CFO or if they are even ready?
Well,
what do you see about that?
Well, part of the problem is when somebody says, I want to be a bookkeeper, the advice that's thrown at them is, here's what you will do if at your top level, right? CFO, fractional CFO, that's the long-term goal. But if somebody's just starting out and somebody's telling them you need to provide advisory services, then they're going to think, well, if I'm telling them a bookkeeper and I can use QuickBooks or a similar accounting platform and I can produce that P&L and balance sheet, then I can provide CFO services. And they can't. And there's such a disconnect in what a true bookkeeper just starting out, what they know. I mean, your measurement of growth has to do with what you know and what you're going to know 10 years from now, right? So your services and your fees, everything is built on where you are now, but people don't assimilate the where they are in their process. A general bookkeeper who understands how to complete tasks is not the same thing as somebody who is able to provide advisory services, but they're all in the same bucket.
Right. Right. A lot of smoke and mirrors out there.
That's what we have to separate.
How would you suggest those that have actually the chops, the skills, the background to be CFOs or advisors separate themselves from those masquerading?
Right.
Because it all looks the same on websites.
No.
Right. Right.
Right.
Well, here's my measure. Here's how I help somebody determine for themselves
Okay.
they are in the accounting cycle. Now, I'm old enough to remember what the manual accounting process and workflows looked like when
Right.
you had to do it on, with pencil on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a very specific circle of steps. It's the workflow and everything that you have to do. Well, in 2017, okay, I was preparing to be a presenter actually at a cannabis conference. And I was making the point that we in that industry have to revert back to almost the caveman, where you're chiseling your numbers into a stone, because we don't have access to banking and
Right.
so many pieces. So I said, we're basically doing the first part of data management manually.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else can be automated, right?
Yep.
And can be produced, but you have to know what the transition is from data management to that month-end closing role. So the test, I've actually created an online test that evaluates the level of knowledge, skills, and abilities for anybody who calls themselves a bookkeeper.
Ooh.
Oh, that's nice. There you go. So our listeners can go to your website, get that, and then apply it to their staff.
Right. And apply it
Ooh.
to themselves.
Oh, even yeah,
Yep.
you're right. Give me
Because
a copy for Liz. I want to test her.
I was going to say, Ron, let's see who's smarter
Let's
in
see
terms
who's
of
worse, you
bookkeeping.
or me.
so there's 3 levels though. There's the data management role.
Yep.
There's the month-end closing role. And then there's the advisory role. So the month-end closer basically brings everything together. They've confirmed the results from the first segment. They've done the reviews, they've done the reconciliations, between all platforms. They have tied it all up into a nice little monthly report that at that point should be audit ready. That's my level of success. Is
Nice.
it audit ready? So data management, we refer to the IRS record keeping link on irs.gov because it tells you very clearly, here's what's required for record keeping.
Right.
The problem is you need to know which one of those apply to the kind of business that you're working with. So that's a different, we'll come back to that, but there's 3 levels.
Right.
And then that 3rd level, that's the advisory role.
Yeah, it's funny. It makes sense. We don't here at Profit First Professionals, we don't provide oxygen, right? And a lot of new starting accounting and bookkeeping firms are just learning to breathe with their data management, right?
Yeah.
And then they're actually not they're actually doing some of the month-end closing, but not audit ready. They're kind of doing it, but they're trying to jump right to the advising,
Yes.
and there's a skills gap.
Yeah. And here's the measure of how you get to the advisory service at level from the month-end closer. Can that month-end closer explain what every single line item on the profit and loss report means and where they got the data to produce that number? That's IRS ready. That's also compliance ready, because there are businesses that have monthly compliance requirements, and that's what that person must be able to do. So they have to have the chops
Yeah.
to say very clearly on every single line, this is what it means, this is how I proved it, and this is where my information came from. Because that's what the IRS asks for. When you're down there in the nitty-gritty, which I've been with cannabis clients, I know what the questions are.
It's nice.
And that's the
You're
top.
in the weeds, not high. Double pun. You got that? Puns intended.
Right.
Nice.
Funny quick little story about so I started learning about the whole cannabis business operations and compliance, which was crazy, and it still is.
Still is.
It's still completely crazy.
Yep.
But one of the first clients I took on had been in the business for a while before certain rules might have been out there.
So he was local salesman.
Yeah.
So I sat down with him and I started talking about the records required for an agricultural operation and a processor, because they were ones that would do the extractions, which basically makes them a wholesale.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to need to gather from you to produce the reports that are going to meet the compliance. And he was sitting there kind of looking strangely at me. And I was like, do you have a question or something? And he said, do you realize that that used to be referred to as evidence?
Yes. I'm thinking the same thing.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, no, that's creating a set of
Wow.
books. You don't
Yeah.
want a set of books in this industry.
Oh,
No.
no.
Yeah,
But
there's no paper trail. Nope. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing to see here.
a kind of brag about how this process works and how foolproof it is. Okay. In 2015, I took on my first cannabis client, and it was a retail business. And I set up all of their internal workflows to be able to go around that cycle. And if people don't know, it's called a cycle because it repeats every single month or every single fiscal period. It repeats. So it's a cycle. Okay. But over that time, there's like 7 verticals in the cannabis market. You have agricultural, you have processing, even like distribution, retail. It's like all of these verticals.
It's a real industry. It's not
real.
just,
Yeah.
hey,
All by
let's sell
itself.
this product.
Yeah.
Yeah, all by itself. And so if you're going to get into cannabis or any other market, you have to understand specifically what that business requires. Otherwise, you can't explain it.
Correct. And I want to bring, so I love that this is where we're talking about. One of the notes that you put on our sheets for us is the power of SOPs and how your standard operating procedures are truly a strategic asset. And also for, our audience are really, that could be their claim to fame as we help set up these beautiful SOPs. So can you tell us your thoughts on that? Why is that a strategic asset?
Profit. It is a
Mic drop.
it's
Profit.
all about profit.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we all want to make a profit and we want to know what that is. So when we have standard operating procedures for a sales business and a service business, that's the biggest part of what you need to know. What does a sales business look like? And what are the chart of accounts, the GL accounts that typically go along with sales? Well, if you know that, then every sales business should be able to follow the same workflows. It's only that business operations and their record keeping requirements that differ.
I think you just gave me a golden nugget. And that is to ask every business owner, what is your cash flow SOP? How are you managing your cash flow? When cash comes into your business, what is your standard operating procedure? Is it to just let it sit in the OpEx? Is it to use it whenever you need to use it? Or is there a predetermined way that you can operate your cash with mindfulness? Yes, profit first, right? But
Yep.
you're nailing it. The
Yeah.
SOPs are in the efficiencies. Efficiencies add to profit.
Absolutely. And when you have the same data management processes, regardless of the kind of business it is, you've just knocked out 80% of your effort,
Yep.
right?
Then you can move into the month end close, right? Expertise, get all that stuff licked,
Yep.
and then move up.
And then, one of the other things you talk about is going from startup to scale, right? So that's how you can scale.
Oh,
You're like,
this is the
okay,
scaling method.
I know,
If
so good.
Laura's
Yeah.
sharing the scaling method.
Scaling method. It's so good.
Another piece to managing as business owner, managing that data management segment, when I am pricing a client's work, because here he
I
is.
thought that was a boom mic, and I was like, nope, that's a dog. That's not a boom mic.
And one of his favorite places to be is on my shoulder.
Yeah,
so
like
that's
a parrot.
kind of headed for right now. But anyway,
So cute.
so as a business owner, when I'm sitting down with a potential client and I already know, as a sales business or a service business, the minimum of what's required to manage their business on a monthly basis. So, and here's a secret. Okay, the first segment, the data management, is the only piece of the cycle that is quantifiable.
And what is
Okay.
that? What's the cash
The
coming in?
the number of transactions
Got it.
that they have, where they're located, because you have multiple platforms to pull information from. So that's a level of complexity. Because if you're working with a retail store or you're working with an attorney, those are two different levels of knowledge, skills, and ability that you have to have.
It's so funny, and I'm so happy to say that because, before I started doing this, I was more of a consumer of accounting and bookkeeping, and accounting's accounting. Bookkeeping's bookkeeping. I
Right.
thought a bookkeeper is a bookkeeper. It didn't matter what industry there was in. I didn't realize that there was different levels, that there was different, like data management, month end close advisory. I didn't know any of that. And so, it's a benefit to us if we're sharing this with our customers, if we're marketing the differences, if we're sharing that, hey, listen, we're not just data managers, we're forward, front, window advisors.
You want to hear another benefit that came out of that? Clients now understand what they're paying for.
Right.
And I can say, because I know what a sales business needs, now I can go to that client and say, based on your business, and you have this kind of business with these kinds of requirements, on a monthly basis, I am determining a 10-hour, and my hourly rate is, I don't know, $125 an hour. So now I have set a recurring hourly rate for them, a minimum, and they understand it. And they understand the more efficient they are, the better chance they have of keeping that data management time down.
Right.
Okay. Then the month-end closing section, that recurs every single month.
Yep.
And it requires the same type of tasks to complete it. Do you have to pull from external platforms to get billing information or point of sale? That happens every month. So now we have a recurring closing fee, and the clients understand it. So now they are participating. And
Right.
because they're participating, they understand it. And I'm also telling them, I'm educating them so that when the IRS calls, which this client, the deposit client, I didn't finish, story doesn't matter. He got an audit for a deposit because he deposited more than $10,000 of cash in a single transaction in a day. You can't do that since 9/11.
Wow.
They want to track the source of funds. So you're immediately tagged for an audit. And he called me and he goes, "What do I do? What do I do?"
Yeah.
And I said, "You answer their questions. You know
Nice.
what you give to me on a monthly basis. You know what I've asked for, and you know what I do with it. Have a conversation."
That's
Then,
so reassuring. Imagine if our
Yeah.
audience listeners had that kind of confidence in the work that their staff
Yeah.
is doing, that if they said, "Hey, what happens if I get a notice? What's your office going to do?" And instead of saying, "Oh, you call me immediately to answer the questions. I'm bulletproof. That's why you hired me."
right.
Oof.
So when I told him, I said, "I'm your wingman. So after they talk to you, they're going to talk to me." And, sure enough, I had an hour-long interview scheduled with them. After 15 minutes, the agent on the call said, "I don't have any more questions," because I was able to answer them
Awesome.
immediately and confidently. And I gave them the answer and then waited for the next question. And she actually had to ask the supervisor on the call, "Do you have any more questions?" 15 minutes and that was done. And that audit was over with.
Was
Well,
that the cannabis industry? Was that a cannabis business?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it just goes to
What a
show when you do
gift.
things right, when you
Yeah.
cross your T's, dot your
cool.
I's, the big picture is always going to be clear, and you have confidence in anybody judging your work.
Yeah, it's
Right.
great.
And that's one of the things that I think needs to happen more in the industry is everybody needs to be, confident in the work that they're doing. And if you're not
Mhm.
confident in the work that you're doing, well, you got to reach out to folks like Laura, reach out to folks like me, Liz. There's tons of us out there that are dying to
Yeah.
help you grow your accounting bookkeeping practice in a meaningful way. Right.
Unfortunately, as we've already said, the market is flooded with
Yeah.
scams or whatever, ill-equipped people to teach the stuff that they don't even know and understand. Okay. And then telling that person, if you do A, B, and C, you're a bookkeeper. There are so many of those, and so many people get taken by that they lose trust, they lose confidence. And so when somebody like us comes along, it's hard
Yeah.
for you to even be able to have a conversation with them,
Yeah.
right?
Wow. Absolutely. Well, I think that's a great place to wrap this up, Laura. I mean, I
So
can't believe
fast.
time went by that fast. That was
So fast.
awesome.
That was
Um,
fun.
for our audience members who don't want to scam, who want to work with you and want to learn more about you, where can they find out where to reach out to you?
So my website is www.momentumbk.com. And
And
of
they can
course,
Awesome.
take that test on there.
yes, they can take the test on there, and it will test them for all 3 levels
Cool.
And it's an objective assessment. So they'll know more about themselves when they're done.
That's great.
Awesome,
Oh,
guys.
I
Laura,
appreciate that.
thank you so much. Listeners, take that test, get that download.
Yeah,
Tell them,
seriously.
when you see Laura, tell them Ron said hello, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
That's awesome.
Nice. Laura, thank you so much. Hang
you,
out. We're
Laura.
going to continue this. All right, everybody. So listen, I got to interrupt the show just to remind everybody to go to bill.com/grow to get your free demo and your free $250 gift card. You need to automate your repetitive tasks. Use what we use. Go to bill.com/grow.
Profit First app already gives you a step-by-step system with me, Mike Michalowicz, guiding you through every step of profitability. But the app team has been working behind the scenes on something that is going to make running Profit First even easier. Keep listening this month so you can be the first to know.
My takeaways. So Laura was talking about something. A lot of times people love the flashy, they love the sexy, they love the new, right? Like we were having a conversation about a member this morning who just wanted to keep talking about AI with you. And you're like, enough, do the work. And
Right.
this is the work. I love front loading the not so sexy stuff that you need to do, because then it's done. And you can have these amazing conversations in your discovery calls and your sales calls and say, I see you and I know you. Here's what we do and why. Do you want in or no? I don't make anything for you because I know you already. I have years of experience and expertise. I've done all the due diligence. I know who you are. We'll personalize some things, but I love that. So it's the power of cycle. And I love that too. And she even made that sound less boring, right? It's not it's not the same things over and over. It's a cycle, like a butterfly, like migration. It's a cycle. We like the cycles. We need them to come back. So that was fun. That was great.
I've got a couple pages of notes.
I was going to say I could see the smoke coming off your pen on that one.
Yeah. I love the clarity on the 3 roles, progression. I'm
Totally.
going to echo what you said. Fundamentals before. I mean,
Mhm.
you watch any true athlete, the great ones, they're not trying to, do all these magic moves and everything. No, they're practicing fundamentals.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what they're doing. And that's what this is. The power of SOPs, line by line. Explain that P&L to me.
So good. And what a
Yeah.
cool way to test too. So like we have so many members that are hiring new bookkeepers or junior bookkeepers or working with offshore people. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
such a simple way to test them. Is like, explain these line items and where it came from.
Yep.
It's not tricking. It's not asking for something that's beyond what they should know already. Like this, if you say you're this, here's how
You
you
know
should
it.
be able to explain it. I loved that. That's so
Awesome.
great.
Nice. All right. Cool.
Awesome. Okay, great.
What do we
Here, I'm
got?
going to
We
do the
got a
stinger.
trippy. Oh,
I did the
stinger.
stinger.
Okay. Do it.
I don't know if you could hear that. Could you hear
Nope.
that one?
I didn't.
Dang
I
it.
heard the oh my, but not the stinger.
Oh, you did hear that? Oh my,
Mhm.
great. Okay, that works. So I am going to do my little trippy question.
All right.
All right. So I had a couple. One, I almost cried reading it, so I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
It was about parents, and I'm like, no, we're
don't
not.
do that
Both
to
of us
me.
can't do that one. We're
Yeah.
not doing that
Okay.
one.
Good.
This one is about friends. What are the most important qualities in friends?
Loyalty
Oh, really?
for me.
Okay.
In
Why? Why is
truth.
that so important to you?
Because loyalty are usually actions versus words.
Okay.
And so you can demonstrate a lot more loyalty and friendship by the actions that you take towards
Hmm.
people, versus the words that you speak. While words are important, I think actions really truly show who the individual is.
Love it. Awesome. The most important qualities for me is intelligence, because
Man, you must
I
not
like,
like me.
I don't. That's why we're not friends. That's why I work for you. We're not. No, because really, like intelligence and like I love hanging out with smart people. I never want to be the smartest person in the room,
Yeah.
and I
Don't worry about
believe.
that.
I know. I've never worried about it, and I believe that only smart people are funny. So like,
That
right?
must
Like
be
we
brilliant.
can, right? Like you can like laugh at someone who's doing something silly like a trip, but like to truly have belly laughs, it comes from smart people. So
There you go.
I want some
Nice.
smart friends. That's my thing. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
And then do you have, my friend, an
Yeah.
insider's access
All
with your
right. So
lightsaber?
insider's access is something that we're doing here that you can do as well. Okay. And what is that? That's a customer/client meetup,
Yeah.
right?
Nice.
You can have a social with all of your customers. Your customers are business owners. They're looking for deals. They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for connections. You have business owners all over the globe, all over the United States, might be selling, might be this, but have you ever thought about bringing everybody together? Just as a community, and instead of calling your customers, maybe call them members. That
Mhm.
you might treat them differently or a little bit better, or family members, right? So we're having ProfitCon. It's already passed by the time you listen to this, but
Yeah.
you too can open up a bank account, call it retreat, call it customer gathering, and have a picnic, an ice cream social, a 5K run, something
Yeah.
to bring together your community.
We used to have open houses every year, just like back to school open house at the education place I worked. And it was all of my strategic partners, all of my professional networking clients, and then all of my clients. And it was so fun. It would always last, it would be from like 5 to 7. I would be kicking people out at 10. I was like, okay, y'all get out of here. That's enough. But it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fun and it's mutually beneficial. That's a good one, Ron. I love that.
Yep. Awesome,
Awesome.
guys. All
Awesome.
right. Wow. That's it for today, guys. That went fast. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, like today's show or any show, matter of fact. Your feedback is greatly appreciated, and we're looking for new members. Not new, we're looking for more members. Okay. We've got a few roster positions left this year. Time is ticking. Let's get you in here. Let's get you certified. Let's help you with your, accomplish your desired faster, sooner, now.
Go to profitfirstprofessionals.com and click on the button that says become a PFP. We'll talk with Ron, you'll talk with me, and you could decide if that makes sense for you. We would love to see you. We'd love to at least know about you. We just
Cool.
we're nosy. That's why.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.